Muy buenos días para todos los que se conectan a esta hora a una nueva sesión de Edu Digital Bilingüe. En esta nueva temporada, este es un espacio del Centro de Estudios Aeronáuticos para estar más cerca de ustedes y hablar de temas que contribuyen a nuestra calidad de vida y son tan importantes como lo es hablar una segunda lengua. En la sesión de hoy continuaremos realizando y revisando lo que aprendimos en el 2020. Esta es la segunda parte del review que hicimos nuestra clase hace 15 días. Y como ya lo saben, nos acompaña el docente Miguel Ángel Cruz Padilla. Miguel Ángel, muy buenos días and welcome back to Edu Digital Bilingüe.
Hello, Lina, and welcome back once again to Edu Digital Bilingüe, and a space designed for you to improve your language proficiency and, of course, your comprehension, your fluency, your reading, your speaking. So, as Lina said, remember the last session we had the first review lesson. And for the people who is joining today, let me introduce myself. My name is Miguel Cruz. I'm 24 years old, and now I have the opportunity to help you improve your plain English. And in this lesson, we're going to have the second review lesson. So remember, in the first review lesson, we had some topics that you learned in the last year, in the 2020. So remember, today we are going to have the second lesson, and in the next session you will see a new topic. So nuevamente bienvenidos a todos ustedes a Edu Digital Bilingüe. Mi nombre es Miguel Ángel Cruz Padilla. Para aquellas personas que se unen y para aquellas que están nuevamente con nosotros, recordarles que ya tuvimos nuestra primera sesión de repaso y esta es nuestra segunda sesión el día de hoy. Así que vamos a comenzar. So, our context for today's class would be work experience. And first, we're going to talk about jobs, probably about your job or your previous jobs. And also, we're going to talk about your time. In this case, we're going to touch some topics like adverbs of frequency, also WH questions to check and repeat information, then past and present and past, and other topics. So, in the first part, talking about jobs, you have to know that the verb to be is used when we talk about a person, about a name, probably age, nationality, professions, or feelings. So let's suppose if you are a pilot, if you say that I am a pilot, I am a carpenter, I am a nurse, you are using verb to be. Also, it is used to describe characteristics about something or someone else. So for example, if we have a car, we can say my car is blue, or his car is black, his car is red. So we are using always verb to be. For example, in this picture, we can see in this case to make some descriptions. So for example, he is a doctor, or they are doctors, they too are doctors. The shirt is blue, the shirt is white, the tie is red. She is a businesswoman, he is a businessman, she is a nurse, she is a manager, probably they are engineers. So in this case, we are using always verb to be. So first, we have to take in mind present verb to be, and also then past verb to be. So to talk about present, we can ask ourselves, what is your job? So in this case, in the affirmative way, I can say, I am an assistant. Okay, so that is the first expression to say what is your job. I am an assistant in this case. In past, I was an assistant. Okay, so as you can see here, the only thing that we change is verb to be. I am for I was. Next one, he is an engineer. In this case, is the verb to be for he, as it is third person. And then we can change is for was, so he was an engineer. The next one is she is a nurse. And in past, remember we changed is for was, she was a nurse. Next one, you are a businessman, you are a businessman. And the last one, you were a businessman. So in this case, when we have a verb to be in plural, in this case are, we use were in this case. So you were a businessman, you were a businessman. En este caso hay que tener claro y hacer una salvedad. En este caso el pronombre you se puede utilizar tanto de manera singular como de manera plural. En este caso se puede referir a usted o a ustedes. En este caso lo estamos utilizando como usted, ¿vale? Para que tengan eso en cuenta. They are carpenters. They were carpenters. And here the last one, we are doctors. We were doctors. So in this case, for plural, we use were. For plural, or in this case, you, we use were. And for singular, we use was, verb to be, okay? Next, we're talking about verb to be. In the negative way, the only thing that we have in addition is not, is this auxiliary, let's say that. So I am not an assistant, and in past is the same. I was not an assistant. So the only thing that we have in addition is not instead of was. Next one. He is not an engineer in present. In past, he was not an engineer. So in this case, remember, we are using singular pronouns, so we are using was. The next one is she's not a nurse. In past, she was not a nurse. In terms of you are not a businessman. You were not a businessman. Next one, they are not carpenters. We're not carpenters in this case. Next one is we are not doctors, and we were not doctors. So in this case, for negative, you see we have in addition not auxiliary. Entonces en este caso lo único que hacemos para que la oración o digamos que lo que queramos decir se vuelva negativo es utilizar el not después del verbo to be. Recordemos nuevamente el was para singular y were para plural, con la excepción del you, que es usted, ¿vale? Y por último, en cuanto a verb, in terms of verb to be, talking about questions, the only thing that we need to do is to change verb to be at the beginning of the tense. So in this case, is he an engineer? In past, was he an engineer? So as you can see here, is at the beginning of the tense. And here, was is not at the beginning, is next to or after the pronoun. So that's why it's a question here. Next one, is she a nurse? And in past, was she a nurse? So in this case, it's the same. The beginning with verb to be. Are you a businessman? Were you a businessman? Are they carpenters? Were they carpenters? Are we doctors? And were we doctors? So remember, in plural, we don't use a or an because a or an is for a singular way. En este caso, para plurales, no utilizamos a o an porque si lo traducimos al español, se refiere a un o una. Entonces no podemos decir Son ellos uno carpinteros, entonces en este caso, were they carpenters, sin el auxiliar de a o an, sin el artículo, perdón, ¿vale? Recuerden, si tienen alguna pregunta, alguna inquietud, pueden escribirla en el chat y al final de la sesión, pues, se les va a ir aclarando para que, pues, obviamente no queden con ninguna duda al respecto. So now, for checking information, remember we had talked about that. We can use WH questions like what, why, who, when, where, how, but there is a common mistake when we talk in Spanish and we try to translate it to English. Let's suppose if we didn't understand something, we have some expressions, right? But in English, we usually have a simple mistake when we did not understand something and we want it to be repeated, and we say what. So in this case, it is not good enough to say what, because that expression is rude and can be misunderstood. Entonces, en este caso, hay un error muy común cuando hablamos en inglés y queremos confirmar algo como que no entendemos y decimos what. Entonces, en ese caso, ese what, esa persona lo puede tomar como que esa persona no sabe lo que está hablando y puede ser malinterpretado. Es un error muy común que debemos corregir y por eso vamos a ver algunas expresiones. In this case, we have some expressions to ask people to repeat themselves or to check once again some information. And how to ask people to repeat themselves? So we're going to see here the first expression. So for example, what is your name? My name is Miguel. Sorry, or excuse me. So in that case, instead of saying what, we can say sorry or excuse me in that case. Also, what was that? Este se hace referencia a ¿qué fue lo que me dijiste o qué fue eso? Then we can have can you say it in another way? So let's suppose I didn't understand what he's saying and I want it to be repeated but in a different way. So for example, what is your job? I am an air traffic controller. Can you say it in another way? Well, I am the one in charge of organizing the airplanes while flying. So in that case, we are looking for an explanation or a description of that job. If we are talking about our job. Do you mind repeating that? ¿Te molestaría si lo repites o si repites eso? Could you repeat or could you say that again? So it's pretty much or is similar to the previous expression, but here it is a direct question and here is a request, like a more formal request. Give me 1 second, sorry. I'm living now near to the airport. Could you speak up or could you speak more slowly? So let's suppose if the intonation is not good, you can ask the people, could you speak up, right? Or let's suppose if the person is talking too fast, si la persona está hablando muy rápido, le puedes decir, could you speak more slowly? Entonces son expresiones que podemos utilizar en vez de decir what, a mejorar nuestro vocabulario en este caso y las expresiones en inglés. Also, I can't understand what you are saying. No entiendo o no puedo entender lo que me estás diciendo, si lo traducimos al español. Remember, we can use sorry with these expressions. So we can make a compliment saying this. Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Lo siento, no entendí lo que me dijiste, no capté lo que me dijiste. Next one. Sorry, can you say it in another way? Excuse me, do you mind repeating that? Sorry, could you speak up more slowly? And last one, sorry, I can't understand what you are saying. So remember, You have too much expressions, not only these ones, to ask people to repeat themselves. So the idea is to use those expressions in our daily routine days or our jobs in this case, or talking about ourselves, okay? When we didn't understand something, we can use these expressions. So we continue now checking information, but with WH questions. So remember, for WH questions, we can use who for a person, where for a place, why for a reason, when for time. So it could be a specific day or a specific time of the day. The next one, how, talking about the number or the way something is done. So the most common way to use how is to say how many or how much. But remember, we can use how tall, how heavy, how long, how short, right? En este caso, muchas veces el how puede ser utilizado de diferentes maneras. How many, para cuántos, how much, digamos que cuánto vale en cuanto a dinero, how tall, qué tan alto, how heavy, qué tan pesado, how long, qué tan largo, ¿cierto? Entonces, en este caso, podemos utilizar who, where, why, when, and how to check some information. Also, remember, we can use what if we are checking information of something or a thing or an action. We can use what for a wide choice of options, and here for a limited option. So what is your favorite color? Is a wide option, is a wide choice, or it would be what is your preferred color? Or sorry, which is your preferred color, red or blue? So here we have just two options, okay? Now, I have an example here of two friends having a conversation of their work experience. So we're going to start. In this case, good morning, Santiago. Hello, Diana, how are you doing? I'm good. And where are you working? I'm working as a carpenter in Spain. Where? So here we are talking about where because we want to check the place he is working at. So in this case, Spain. I'm working in Spain. Okay, but what was, remember, past, what was your last job? I was a plumber. Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. So remember this expression? Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. I said I was a plumber. Entonces, acá, como nos damos cuenta, le está reconfirmando lo que probablemente esa persona no escuchó. Excellent. Do you want a coffee on Monday? Sorry, when did you say it? So here, remember, when is to talk about time, and here we are talking about Monday. So, excellent. Do you want a coffee on Monday? Sorry, when did you say? Next one, on Monday. It sounds good to me. Okay, I'm going with Jose. Sorry, who? So here we are talking about a person. We are talking about Jose, and that's why we use who to check who is going to that meeting probably. With Jose, a new co-worker. Good, see you later. Goodbye, take care. Entonces, en este caso, lo que vimos fue una conversación completa acerca del trabajo de alguna persona, ¿cierto? Pues digamos que un poco resumida, utilizando algunas expresiones de las que ya hemos visto tanto esta sesión como la sesión pasada, ¿cierto? Como good morning, hello, contractions here, I'm, ¿cierto? Where, verb to be, where are you, how are you, I'm, once again, article, in this case, a, profession here, carpenter, WH questions here, where, an expression to repeat themselves. Sorry. Once again here, was for verb to be. I was a plumber. Once again, an expression here to repeat some information or to check information in a formal way. Here, once again, was. We are talking here about time. Sorry, about the about a time. We are talking of Monday, so we are making reference to a specific time or a specific day of the week. Here we are talking about people, so that's why we are using who. Okay, so remember, you can change that conversation depending on your experience as, let's suppose, as an air traffic controller, as a businessman, as an office worker. So depending on your profession, you can change that conversation. Okay. Now, we can talk about requests and offers. So for requests and offers, remember, we have to consider countable and uncountable nouns, and also we have to consider singular and plural nouns. So in this case, for a singular and countable noun, we can use a or an in this case, right? So remember, a is used when you have a consonant after that article, right? So there is a bottle on the table. So here, the consonant is B, bottle, right? There is a bottle on the table. And here, N is when you have a vowel after the article. So there is an apple on the table. So here, the next word starts with a vowel, so an apple in this case, okay? So remember, the translation to Spanish is una o un. So en este caso, hay una botella en la mesa, o ahí hay una manzana en la mesa, ¿cierto? Entonces, hace referencia a una o un. And here, to make a request, let's suppose I can say, I would like a cup of coffee. We want in this case a cup of coffee, una taza de café. Una taza de café es contable, ¿cierto? Porque estamos hablando solamente de una en este caso. Y el would, recuerden que es un modal verb que se usa para ser formal. In this case, it's not good to say I want a cup of coffee because it is so rude. So it would be better to say I would like a cup of coffee. And another example here with an, I would like an orange. Okay, so in this case, an orange because it starts with a vowel. Okay, and to make an offer, let's suppose if I am the cashier in this case, would you like a cup of coffee in this case, or would you like an orange? So the only thing that we change is the modal verb at the beginning, as you can see here. Would is at the beginning here, and here the modal verb is after the pronoun. So I would like a cup of coffee, or would you like a cup of coffee in this case? On the other hand, we have some or any. Remember, some or any is for plural, countable nouns and uncountable nouns. In this case, in the affirmative way, there is some cheese in the fridge, right? So en este caso, el some or any hace referencia a algo de, unos, unas, algunos o algunas. Adicionalmente, también hace referencia a un poco de, ¿cierto? Entonces, there is some cheese in the fridge. Hay un poco de queso o hay algo de queso en el refrigerador. In the negative way, here, as you can see, we use the contraction with is and not. But remember, for negative expressions, we have to use any, okay? There is not any cheese in the fridge. No hay nada o no hay algo de queso en el refrigerador. Y para hacer las preguntas igualmente. Is there any cheese in the fridge? ¿Hay algo de queso en el refrigerador? Entonces, en este caso, hay que tener en cuenta que any se utiliza la mayoría de veces para expresiones negativas y para hacer preguntas, mientras que some se utiliza para afirmaciones. An example, I would like some salt. In this case, the salt is not countable, ¿cierto? La sal no es contable, no pueden contar la sal, no pueden contar el azúcar, no pueden contar el café, digámoslo así de esta manera, no pueden contar el agua. Entonces, I would like some salt in this case. And to make an offer, would you like some salt? Would you like some coffee? Or do you have any pet? Recuerden que el any, como les dije, se utiliza muchas veces para las preguntas, en este caso, directas, ¿cierto? No como un ofrecimiento, sino como una pregunta directa. Do you have any pet? Entonces, en este caso, le estamos haciendo una pregunta directa a la persona de si tiene alguna mascota, ¿cierto? En este caso, utilizamos any, ¿ok? So here, to make a better explanation or to have that in the best choice, we use some in firm tenses with countable and uncountable ones. So I need some shoes, ¿cierto? Necesito algunos zapatos, en este caso, or I drank, yo tomé o yo bebí un poco de agua. I drank some water, okay? Then we use some to make questions, but like an offer, right? Just like an offer. In this case, would you like some water? Or can I borrow some money? Como les dije anteriormente, el some se utiliza solamente cuando se hacen preguntas como ofertas o solicitudes, más no como una pregunta directa. Any. We use any with negative sentences and with countable and uncountable nouns. So in this case, I don't have any shoes, okay? No tengo zapatos. I don't have any shoes. I don't need any water. No necesito agua en este caso, right? Y como les decía, preguntas directas. Do you have any pets? ¿Tienes mascotas? Or do you have any money? ¿Tienes algo de dinero? So remember that, and if you want, consider some and any and make some sentences depending on your experience to reinforce that topic. Here, now, what your interests are. So basically, there are some expressions to say and to talk about your interests. In this case, I am interested in, I want to, or I'd like to go to. In this case, we have to use some expressions and some considerations that are ed and ing adjectives. Why? Ed adjectives represents how do we feel in that event. So let's suppose if we are in a meeting that is good, we can say that meeting is interesting. So in this case, I am very interested in robots, ¿cierto? Es el sentido que estamos teniendo en este caso, ¿cierto? Pero en el segundo ejemplo, I find robots very interesting. Es, digamos en este caso, lo que describe a los robots, ¿cierto? Lo que describe a esa cosa a la que estamos haciendo referencia y no cómo nos sentimos nosotros. Segundo ejemplo, the class is very challenging, ¿cierto? La clase es muy difícil, es muy desafiante. En este caso, I feel challenged by my class or by the class. Yo me siento retado, yo me siento desafiado por la clase. The horror movie was terrifying. I was terrified by the horror movie. So in this case, here, terrifying is making reference to the horror movie, right? And I, in this case, my feeling was terrified, okay? The next one, the food was disgusting. So here, this adjective is for the food, so it was not good, was disgusting. I was disgusted by the food. ¿Cómo me sentí con la comida? Y el último ejemplo, the show was amazing. So here we are talking about the show. And then, if the show was amazing, I was amazed by the show, okay? So you have to take that in mind. It's not the only, those are not the only adjectives to use when describing something, when describing your feelings. So remember to check the dictionary or probably internet and use them in your daily routine or non-routine actions, okay? Let's suppose we are in an interview and they ask what your interests are. So I am interested in aviation, technology, and maths. Also, we can say the same thing using ing in this case, right? ing. So I am interested in flying airplanes, that is the same in aviation, creating new things, probably technology, and solving math problems. So here we have two expressions saying the same but in a different way. Entonces, en este caso tenemos dos oraciones que están diciendo lo mismo, que están diciendo los mismos intereses de una manera distinta, ¿cierto? En este caso, al principio estamos utilizando, vamos lo que es sustantivos en este caso, y aquí estamos utilizando el ing, ¿vale? Segunda expresión, I want to learn the way to fly an airplane, ¿cierto? En este caso estamos hablando de una meta. Quiero aprender cómo se vuela un avión o la manera de volar un avión. Y por otro lado tenemos los deseos. I'd like to go to London and Norway. Entonces hay una cierta línea que puede ser muy delgada entre el want to y el I'd like to go to. Pero pues eso se consigue con la práctica. And to finish, in this case, we have some habits and customs, right? We are talking about habits and customs. We need to use adverbs of frequency, right? So what are those adverbs of frequency? Always, usually, frequently. So depending on the adverb, there is a certain percentage of the action that we are making always or that we are making daily. So always is when you do 100% that action all the day. So for example, I always wake up at 6 a.m. ¿Cierto? En este caso, yo siempre me levanto a las 6 de la mañana. Entonces, always es porque siempre lo estamos utilizando, siempre lo hacemos en este caso. Usually, usualmente. I usually go to the market every weekend, ¿cierto? Entonces, yo usualmente voy al supermercado todos los fines de semana. Entonces, I usually tiene un porcentaje más pequeño que always porque no se está haciendo siempre, sino que es de manera un poco más casual, ¿cierto? Pero con un porcentaje también alto. Frequently, we have 80%, often, 70%, 50 sometimes, 30 occasionally, 10 seldom, 5 rarely, and 0 never. Entonces, never es porque nunca lo hacemos, ¿cierto? Es lo contrario a always. Entonces hay que tener muy en cuenta estos adverbios de frecuencia para lo que queramos expresar cuando estemos conversando con alguna persona. Aquí tenemos un ejemplo. I always go shopping after work. Lo que nos están diciendo ahí en esa imagen es que esa persona siempre va de compras después del trabajo. So this is all for this session. So Lina, I don't know if we have some questions here to answer, if the people is participating or something else.
Yes, we do have some questions, Miguel. Thank you so much for this important review. So if you like, we could start now to addressing the questions.
Okay.
So the first one will be, if I say, could you, we need to say please?
Well, it's not necessary because could you is a formal way to ask for something, but if you want to use it as a compliment, you can do it, so it doesn't matter.
Perfect. Please, one example different. Well, I mean, please, one example with the difference of which and what.
Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to check here. Let's suppose if you are buying a car, right? If you are buying a car, you have 2 cars. You have, let's suppose, Chevrolet and Hyundai. So which one do you like? Chevrolet or Hyundai? That is for which. And what? Let's suppose you have a lot of options. So what airline do you prefer? In this case, ¿qué aerolínea te gusta? ¿Cierto? Tenemos una amplia gama de opciones. Y en el otro caso, which car do you prefer? ¿Cierto? Tenemos 2 gamas de carros. Si te gusta el Chevrolet o Hyundai, ¿cuál prefieres en tu caso? Podría ser un ejemplo.
Good. Thank you, teacher. Another question is, it is correct to say everyone and everybody when greeting?
It depends. Let's check that. It depends because we can talk about, well, if you feel comfortable, for me, I feel comfortable saying hello everyone or hello everybody. It's pretty much the same. You can use it as a synonym, but it depends on you. It depends on the person and the way he wants to talk. Eso depende mucho de la persona. En mi caso, yo utilizo cualquiera de las dos para poder, digamos, ser formal de cierta manera, pero se usan como sinónimos.
Good, thank you, teacher. And I think maybe our last question would be, en los adverbios de frecuencia siempre van al comienzo de la oración.
Digamos, en este caso, si estamos hablando de cualquier acción que estemos haciendo, siempre va a ir el pronombre personal, siendo I, he, she, they, we or you, ¿cierto? Entonces, en este caso, si nosotros, digamos, vamos al aeropuerto todos los días, nosotros podemos decir we always, o digamos ocasionalmente, we occasionally go to the airport in the week. Entonces, en este caso, siempre hay que tener en cuenta el adverbio de frecuencia después de los pronombres personales.
No sé si sea una pregunta o está rectificando algo que tú dijiste, pero acá nos dicen, I would like a cup of coffee is affirmative.
Ok, en este caso sí, digamos que I would like a cup of coffee es una afirmación, ¿cierto? Y hay que tener en cuenta que una cosa es decir I would like a cup of coffee y otra cosa es decir would you like a cup of coffee, ¿cierto? En la primera estamos afirmando y en la segunda estamos haciendo una oferta, ¿vale? Y hay una cosita que pues, también sería bueno aclarar. Es muy distinto, hay muchas personas que dicen, pero porque dice a cup of coffee, y hay otras personas que dicen some coffee, would you like some coffee? ¿Por qué? Porque el café, en este caso cuando hablamos de, digamos, del producto, no es contable, mientras que a cup of coffee es una taza de café, ¿vale?
Thank you, teacher. Nos saludan, aprovechamos para decirle a la gente que nos gusta que nos cuenten de dónde se conectan. Tenemos a una persona que nos saluda desde el aeropuerto Antonio Nariño y mucha gente que nos saluda el día de hoy, pero nos encantaría saber que nos escriban en el chat de dónde se conectan. Y de esta manera, profe, creo que terminamos. Agradecemos a nuestro docente Miguel, muchísimas gracias por compartir tu conocimiento. Creo que de esta manera daríamos por terminada la segunda sesión del review y entraríamos a discutir nuevos temas.
Sí, señor.
¿Es correcto? Entonces, esperamos que este espacio haya sido de importancia para ustedes. No olviden que mañana tenemos una charla sobre medio ambiente y conéctense a las 10 de la mañana. Feliz resto de día y hasta pronto.
Bye bye.